This
On Playwright.
conference will now be recorded.
So, welcome to this demo session on Playwright by Isha Training Solutions. My name is Piyush Gupta, and I'm very excited to guide you through this powerful tool for end-to-end testing, which is Playwright. And before we dive in, let me share a little bit about myself. So, I have overall 19 years of experience in the software industry, and I have led multiple automation projects across various domains. So, currently, I'm working as a senior test automation architect, and I'm actually residing in Chandigarh, Punjab, in India. Okay, so teaching is my passion, and I've trained many professionals in Selenium with Java in the initial days. And now, since a lot of tools are quite trending, especially Cypress and Playwright, so I've started moving on to Cypress with JavaScript and Playwright with JavaScript. And currently, since last 1 year, I have given many Playwright corporate sessions as well as one-on-one trainings. And currently, I'm in Hyderabad in India, and I'm actually giving a corporate training to a couple of batches here, right? So I'm getting a phenomenal response. Trust me, Playwright is going big time. Okay, and I'm also a very successful YouTuber sharing knowledge and insights with a wider audience. So, but let me take you back to where it all started. So I began my journey as a manual tester in 2006 in a very small town called Chandigarh, Punjab. So unlike today, there were no structured trainings. Back then, there were no YouTube videos, there was no mentors who could guide me. I really wanted to get into automation because when I was a manual tester, I heard a lot from my seniors that there is something called as automation. Back then, there was a tool called as QTP. Now it is called as UFT, and I was very fascinated. But back then, I had no idea about coding. I knew nothing about Java. Yes, in my uh, IT college, actually, right, we had the subject of Java, but I never understood it. To be very honest, I knew how I passed the subject. So, what I just wanted to tell you is, I know exactly how it feels to be overwhelmed by automation, right? Because when I got started, I had a lot of self-doubt. I really wanted to do get into coding, but deep down I had a lot of self-confidence issues that whether I'll be able to actually get into automation, right, and whether I'll be able to really perform. So that's why I'm here, to make this journey easier for you. So I want to share my expertise in a well structured, hands on way so that you don't have to struggle the way like I did. So you'll be learning from someone who has been in your shoes, faced the same challenges, and found the way forward. So I'll try not to keep it in the lecture style course because I feel that is very boring. I'd like to keep things with fun because I think learning can be boring, learning can be fun. I like to keep it in the second way. Okay. So you'll be if you have any doubts, any questions, please ask me. So I'll try to keep it very interactive where I won't just teach you. I'll give you lots of assignments, I'll give you real world scenarios and practical exercises to ensure you truly understand and apply what you learn. So my goal is to make you industry ready, not just theoretically, but with real hands-on experience. And I know some of you, like I think 13 people have mentioned that yesterday in that poll, that you have never worked on any automation. And some of you have mentioned that you have just heard about Playwright. So my goal specifically for people like you is to make you comfortable working in both Playwright as well as JavaScript. And by the end of this course, I'm confident that you should be able to say this. Okay, so whether you're new to automation testing or maybe if you are transitioning from other tools, because from that poll yesterday, I think three of you said that you have worked on Selenium. I'm not sure like at what expertise level you have worked, right? But that doesn't really matter. This session is going to give you basically this entire course is designed in such a way that it is going to give you a very solid foundation in Playwright and show you why it is a game changer in modern web testing. I'm very excited to be a part of your journey, and I promise it's going to be a great experience. So in this demo session, what are we going to cover now? We're going to cover some basic Playwright features and some of the JavaScript features as well. So before we start, if you have any questions at the bottom, in my case at least, I'm seeing in the bottom there's a hand icon over here. So if you have any doubts, any questions, rather than unmuting yourself, I would request please raise your hand and then I can unmute you and then you can get asked, right? And please try to keep yourself muted because some of you might be traveling, some of you might have some background noise, so that it should not disturb any other person, right? So I think we can have a great decorum maintained, right? So trust me, guys, I'm going to give you a great learning experience. It is going to be a solid learning experience for you. Okay. So I'll share my screen firstly and I'll talk something about the entire course, what I have planned. So I'm sharing my screen. Looks like it is shared. Can anyone confirm, please, if you are able to see?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, fine. So, okay, done. Just a sec, guys. Mastering Playwright. Okay, so let me just go through this entire course curriculum, what exactly I have planned. So, I have planned a couple of things. So, if you look at JavaScript, like some of you might have never worked on JavaScript, Some of you might have just heard about JavaScript. Some of you must be very scared of JavaScript, like how I was in my initial days. Right? Don't worry, guys. Right? So I'm covering all those JavaScript basics that are required from automation point of view, because JavaScript is like an ocean, just like Java. Okay? Because nowadays I talk to a lot of people. A lot of you, like some of people usually come to me for guidance, right? And they ask me, Piyush, I want to get into automation. I'm not getting growth in my company as a manual tester. What should I do? Should I start with Java? Should I start with Python? Should I start with JavaScript? So some of these people, because they don't have any mentorship or guidance, they're mostly like confused and they really don't know which path to take ahead. So I really suggest them, instead of going into Java, of course Java is a very good programming language, but specifically for beginners who have no programming experience, no coding background, and maybe a little scared, just like how I was, I would suggest them start with JavaScript. Why? Because it is relatively simpler and very much easier. I'm going to show you some very, very basic JavaScript stuff. I would recommend, since majority of you must be on laptop, some of you might have joined from your phone itself, but if possible, please keep your laptop on. I'll show you. I'll make you write some very simple JavaScript programs. It is going to be very simple. Even though you have never done any coding before, you will start enjoying it. Trust me. Once you actually start getting into coding, it is more of very addictive thing. You don't even realize how much time is passing. So I'm very addictive to coding now, especially when when you start understanding things. So that is what we're going to do. So we are going to cover basic JavaScript basics. Inside the JavaScript basis, I'm talking about some variables, values, and all those things. You'll not be able to understand much of it at this moment. Don't worry. Right. So I'll be covering only that part of JavaScript in this particular course that is required from automation point of view. Okay, otherwise JavaScript is like an ocean in itself. Then after starting with the JavaScript basics, we'll start the JavaScript intermediate. And see, I have written these 4 hours, but they don't have to be exactly 4 hours. It can be little more, it can be little less, because I don't like to teach by the time. I don't like to see the clock, because when I'm in the flow, it doesn't really matter, because my main objective is to give you more value than what you're paying me for. It's very, very important stuff. And yeah, as an IT professional, I would really like to share from my experience that if you really want to get more salary, better hikes, and all those things, start giving more value to your organization, because it is not the other way around. If you think that you want to be a manager, start performing like a manager now. If you really want to get, suppose if you're a junior QA and you wanted to get into a senior QA position, start acting like a senior QA now. It doesn't work other way, that they'll pay me first and then I'll get into that senior QA role. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to give more value first, then you can expect something in return, right? So always, as much majority of people, what I've seen is like they like to do the opposite, and that is when they usually struggle in life. So this minimum mentality doesn't help us achieve bigger things, right? So always want to have some extra kind of mentality. So I'm not just be teaching you JavaScript and Playwright. I'll be teaching you some bit of psychology, some bit of good mindset hacks actually. Why? Because ultimately, if you really wanted to get into better position in your company, right, you want to start acting like a bigger leader today. Just technical skills alone is not going to help you. Eventually, if you want to become a manager or maybe as working like a senior architect, just like how I am, and getting a lot of salary as a package, you want to develop some better skills also, other than technical skills, which is called as leadership training, right? Which is called as communication skills. I was very bad at communication, to be very honest, right? But now I'm sounding very confident. But you have not seen me from where I got started, right? It has been a journey. I have done so many mistakes, so many flaws, like a lot of you. So we are in the same journey, right? So don't compare your current chapter with mine. Why? Because I'm in this industry for 19 years. I've seen so many ups and downs. I've seen some layoffs also. It is not an easy journey, to be very honest, right? But I feel it is still a very good journey, right? Not just professionally, but financially as well. Okay, so let us talk about this JavaScript intermediate. So here in this intermediate JavaScript, we'll be learning about functions, reusable functions, some advanced stuff about functions, and this is something that we'll be using heavily in Playwright. Okay, we'll be talking about block scope, function expressions. There are some new things in JavaScript that are exclusively in JavaScript, not at all in Java. We'll talk about some destructuring, rest parameters, and all those things. Again, that is very important from automation point of view. Don't worry if you're not able to understand any technical terms. Don't worry. My job is not to scare you at all. Right? I'll teach everything from scratch, considering that you all are freshers. Even though you might be a team lead here, right? But I'm teaching basically. I'm treating you all as freshers, according to me. Then we'll be learning some bit of advanced JavaScript. So once we have some solid foundation ready at the moment, Then we'll talk about some advanced JavaScript concepts, which is object-oriented programming. Mysterious. This keyword. I never understood this. Right. I've seen so many YouTube videos and I actually read so many blog posts about classes, objects, constructors, inheritance. And they used to give very, very simple definition like class is like a blueprint. Then we create objects out of this class. My simple doubt was, what is a class basically? Why do I really use it? What is the purpose behind the class? Tell me about this first. Just telling me how to create a class and how to create an object is not going to help me. I want to understand the why behind classes first. I'm going to teach everything for you. Right? Why? Because I'm very fresh with the current training that I'm giving. And the response from my students is very phenomenal. And they are really enjoying my training. Okay. So next, we are going to talk about introduction to Playwright. Right. So Playwright is a very trending automation tool nowadays. Let me give you a very simple thing, very interesting thing. There's a website called as npmtrends.com. Some of you might have heard of it, some of you might not. Doesn't matter. Let me show you something. Let me show you a quick comparison between the three tools that are available in the market right now. First is Playwright, right? Then we have something called as Cypress that is also growing very fast. So this is Cypress, and then there is something called as Selenium. What I'm trying to show you is what? So Selenium WebDriver. Let us see how many people are actually downloading Cypress and Playwright and Selenium WebDriver in last week. Can you see this part? Okay. Before this, let me show you the 5 years time frame. So 5 years back, this is where Playwright was. Nobody knew it Playwright. See, this is where Playwright was. Blue line, right? Nobody ever thought that it can actually grow big time. Since 2023, it started catching up very, very slowly. But somewhere in 2023 end, can you see now how many downloads Playwright had, right, compared to Cypress and Playwright? So Cypress had almost 5 lakhs, almost sorry, 5 million downloads actually, while Playwright had just 1.6, again, which is nothing compared to Selenium. But now, after 2024, can you see this blue graph growing big time now? So this is where Playwright is, right? So people are, we can say, like, they are going crazy over Playwright. A lot of companies have now started migrating from Selenium to Playwright. It's not just because Playwright is so superior or Selenium is bad or something. Why? Because Playwright is making automation, basically it is taking automation to a totally next level. Why? Writing code in Playwright is very, very, very simple. Trust me, I have worked on Selenium, I have worked on Cypress, and I have also worked on Playwright. So I know the pros and cons of all. Selenium is a very good tool, but there's a lot of steep learning curve because learning Java is not easy, especially for a fresher or maybe somebody who's a beginner in automation or beginner in coding. While learning JavaScript is relatively easy. Okay. And Playwright, what I see is like it is, you can, in less than 5 minutes basically, you can actually get started with Playwright right with inside a computer. And I'm going to show you today. It is very, very simple to get started with Playwright and run your first script in less than 5 minutes. It is that simple. So this particular graph can clearly tell you, see, if you look at these numbers, how many downloads Playwright has compared to Selenium Cypress? There is no match nowadays. So what does this tell me? Industry is actually going through a very, very major shift. So we can be like Nokia, right, which resisted change for many years, and now people have stopped using Nokia, right? So we have to be like the trendsetter. So if world is going towards a new trend, I think we should also start doing it. Now, if everybody is now started talking about AI, generative AI, and all those stuff, I think we should also start looking at it. So I'm not just going to teach you Playwright in JavaScript. I'll also teach you something about AI, how to get better with AI. If there are some issues that you face in your day-to-day life, not just with automation or not just with Playwright, even as a manual tester, if you are maybe getting stuck somewhere, how to take help from AI. Because some of you are still not using ChatGPT, which is very strange. Because I talk to a lot of people during my training and interactions, I ask them very question. Are you using ChatGPT? Are you using Google Gemini or maybe Microsoft Copilot? Surprisingly, more than 50% people say, I've heard about it. I've just maybe created one account in ChatGPT, but I never used it. Right. That is absolutely okay. Maybe nobody has guided them how ChatGPT or maybe this AI can actually, take them. Basically, it can help them to perform their work a lot faster. I'm going to teach you all, though it is not mentioned anywhere over here. Right. But I'll be teaching a lot of this stuff. And finally, we'll start with Playwright features. Okay. So we'll start with how to create Playwright framework from scratch. Like we'll start everything. Then we'll talk about test execution. How do we run Playwright with some command line? There is something called as UI mode in Playwright. Then there is something called as trace view and debug. There are so many options in Playwright. And trust me, working with Playwright is a wonderful experience. I was actually this last almost 4 or 5 years earlier. I used to think that Cypress is a very good tool, and I was like a Cypress ambassador, something like that. Okay, but after working in Playwright, I feel that there is no comparison between Cypress and Playwright. Playwright is far ahead, and when it comes to features, advancements, and speed. And then we'll talk about basic Playwright methods, right? So even though you've never done any automation or any coding before, we'll actually understand what is DOM, how to create locators. Some of you must have heard about CSS, XPath, but some of you might be a little confused. Should I go with CSS? Should I go with XPath? Right? Can I really create a good XPath locator? Right? Don't worry, we'll start everything from scratch. Right? I'll teach you all the locators that are supported by Playwright. Okay, how to extract HTML text, basically how to create a test case from scratch. And then slowly, we'll eventually move on to the advanced stuff. And then once you get a little comfortable, right, I'll give you a lot of assignments. So we'll start these assignments from the JavaScript section so that it is going to basically elevate your coding, you can say, coding experience, right? And trust me, most important thing is what? Your confidence. Because I really want to boost up your confidence so that ultimately you should be very confident enough in saying, I know Playwright, right? As of now, you might be sounding, I might be sounding very confident. I want to transfer the same confidence in all of you. Why? Because ultimately confidence is the game. If you look at your managers or team leads, why they are a manager, why they are a team lead? Because they are actually confident, not just in technical skills, but they have confidence in themselves as a person, right? So we really want to develop that confidence, right? And finally, we'll be talking about interaction with web elements because in nowadays we have some lot of modern web applications, right? Some applications are using still the old structure, but nowadays we see mostly modern web applications that maybe are developed in React, Angular, JS, and all those things, right? So Playwright is fully capable of automating such modern web applications. So we are going to deal with some modern web applications. I'll be sharing some projects with you, right? We'll be doing a lot of stuff together, right? And trust me, you will have my number. My number is available on WhatsApp group, right? You will get some questions, you will get some doubts, and right. So once you start coding, you will get stuck as well, and that is very normal, right? So you can never become confident and never become a pro or a master in just maybe a month or so. It will take years. I'm still not the best actually. I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning even after 19 years. I'm still not perfect, but I think I'm pretty good. This is the confidence I really want to give it into you. Okay, and then we'll start with Playwright get by locators. These are the one of the most important features of Playwright, which is user facing locators, which takes Playwright locator creation to another level. And I really will make you very good with these locators. Okay, then we'll talk about dialogues and frames. Don't worry if something is not making sense at the moment, right? And then we'll talk about something called as API testing. So Playwright, yes, it is a UI or GUI automation testing tool, but we can even do API testing also with Playwright, right? So some of you must have heard, or maybe not just heard, maybe have worked with Postman. You must have fired so many APIs, right? We fire some API, we get some response back. We can do the same thing with Playwright, and it is a very simple task, right? Because Playwright, right? What it does is it is developed for beginners, like people like you and me, maybe who have never done coding or any automation before, right? So they have a very simple API. Anybody can understand. Of course, if you've never done coding before, it might be a little different, right? Because you'll see a lot of different playwright methods, a lot of new screens, a lot of new stuff, right? Sometimes you might feel lost, but that's absolutely normal. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can drop me a message on the WhatsApp group. You can even ping me personal, right? But you'll never see my back. You treat me like your elder or a senior who's there to guide you, support you. Okay. And then nowadays, in all the even interviews also, they ask you, do you know about CI/CD? Have you set up any CI/CD pipelines? So we'll talk about that as well, right? And we'll talk about some very advanced playwright. I've written these three parts: test, retry, serial and cook, parallel execution, and cookie injection. But we'll talk so many other stuff as well. And then some of you might have heard about TypeScript as well. So basically, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is like JavaScript with type. So it is not even a language. So it is similar to like Java. So Java is very stricter. While if you talk about JavaScript, JavaScript is very lenient. Okay. So TypeScript is what? So that people make lesser mistakes, so that they have created a wrapper around JavaScript, so that it is more like Java. So that we are getting errors right now rather than getting execution during the runtime. We can start getting the errors right now. Okay, so this is about the course structure, and if you have any doubts, any questions, please feel free to ask me. And yeah, I'll be sharing assignments with you, mostly after this JavaScript sessions, and please do try to solve these assignments. And it's not like you cannot take help, right? You can take help from Google, you can take help from ChatGPT or any ASF, doesn't matter to me. Why? As long as you are able to understand the concepts, right, that is absolutely okay. And if I was a beginner, I would have definitely taken help, because I didn't have the confidence that I can actually perform some coding exercise without any help right? So I cannot expect the same thing from you, so don't worry. Okay, so let us start with very basics about JavaScript. Okay, so what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a language that is developed mostly for web development, but since couple of years now it has become so famous, right, that people have started even using for backend development as well. Okay, and some of you might be or might not be aware that we can run JavaScript inside the Google Chrome browser, not just Google Chrome, any browser. Okay, and then some of you might have heard about some tools, or maybe things like there is something called as Node.js. I was very confused initially when I started learning JavaScript many years ago. I had no idea what is Node.js, what is JavaScript, is there a difference or are they same? Okay, so I had a lot of queries, so I'll make it very 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 simple for you. So let us get started. So if I'm on this Google web page, right? So what do? I can execute JavaScript right within my browser, even without using Node.js. I'll talk about Node.js. Don't worry, guys. I'll tell you everything in detail. So I right click and inspect. Some of you must have done this. If I right click and inspect, I see this Google console. So if you see, I see so many errors, but this has nothing to do with me. These are some Google errors, so we can safely ignore them. Now, can you see this button over here? This button is mainly to clear the console. So this is the first thing. So I can click on this clear button, right? It has cleared my console. Again, some errors are coming. Don't worry about it. So I can start writing my JavaScript code right within the browser. How can I do that? It is very simple. So the very simple JavaScript code is what? Simply write 1 plus 2. See, it is very simple stuff. Anyone can do it. So what I'm trying to show you is what? Like your browser is acting like a calculator. You can run your JavaScript code without even having Node.js. Now, some of you might be wondering, then where do I really require Node.js? Because some people say that I need Node.js to run my JavaScript. Yes, that is correct. I need Node.js to run JavaScript, but not within the browser, because these browsers, whether it is Chrome, Firefox, Edge, majority of these common browsers, they have their own execution environment. When I say their own execution environment, it means their own JavaScript runtime execution environment. Okay, so don't really require Node.js actually. Okay, so if I want to run JavaScript outside the browser, then you need this. Then you need this. How about, guys, if I share all these notes with you in a very structured format? Right. Some of you might be taking notes for this. Some of you must be just focusing, but still wondering, I wish if I really get notes. I can even share these notes with you. Right. That is going to really help you, because ultimately, I think with notes, we can actually revise a lot. Without notes, we can forget things. And I used to really forget things. So when I started organizing my learnings in the form of notes, it really helped me out. Okay. So we can execute some more JavaScript. So let me give you one more example. Right. So let me talk about the numbers basically. So what are numbers in JavaScript? If we talk about Java, some of you might have heard about Java. In Java, we have different data types. For example, we have something called as numbers, which is whole numbers. Then we have something called as floating point or fractional numbers like this. So this is like a fractional number in Java. But in JavaScript, we have just one type, which is number. So whether it is a whole number, whether it is a fractional number, right, or whether it is a very bigger number, they all come under one type, which is called as number. So this is like a data type. So what does data type mean in JavaScript? Data type simply means that how can I organize my data? Suppose my name is Piyush, right? I want to organize it. How do I organize it? So my name is actually a string. It is not a number. While all of this, whether it is number 10 or maybe a floating point number, say 16.78, they all are numbers. Okay, so JavaScript has exactly one data type, which is called number. Okay, and if you maybe compare, some of you might have heard about Java, right? If you compare it with Java, it has int, it has float, it has double. Some of you might have heard of it. Even if you have never heard about it, don't worry. JavaScript has just one data type called numbers. Okay, then let me talk about something else. So JavaScript has a precision when it comes to very large numbers. So if I type a very large number, something like this. So if you see over here, I'm typing a very large number. So what is happening? JavaScript is retaining these digits. Okay, so JavaScript has a precision of what? 16 digits. And beyond 16 digits, it loses its precision, which means it actually, okay, I'll show you something. So see, till these many digits, JavaScript was able to remember these digits. But the moment I added one more digit, right, JavaScript has lost all these decimal points. So this is something that we should be aware of. Okay, so this is called as JavaScript is not infinitely precise, right? Next, I can talk about something. So now see, I've written some piece of code, but now I want to clear this console. One option is I can click on this clear button over here. Second option is I can even type a function in JavaScript which is called as clear. So how do I execute any method in JavaScript? Does it is it going to work? No, because any method in JavaScript that I want to execute has to be executed with these parentheses. Now if I simply hit enter, see, it is worked. Okay, now if I want to execute any previously executed code, how do I do? Just use the up arrow key. Okay, so this is the my last executed code, and notice that I have used parenthesis. So parenthesis is a must. It is required to execute any function in JavaScript. Okay, some of you might have heard about different terms like methods. Some of you say it as functions. You must be wondering what is function, what is method. So don't worry, it is a very simple concept. When time is right, I will make you understand, which is very simple. So this is how we can basically execute the previously executed code. Okay, but there's a major problem when it comes to running JavaScript within the browser. What is that major problem? The problem is I'm not able to save my code inside the browser. Okay, so if I close my browser, all of my code is gone, right? But if I really want to save my code, browser is not the right way for that. So when should I write my JavaScript code inside the browser? If I want to maybe test or maybe write one or two lines of code, maybe if I want to quickly test something out. In that case, running JavaScript within the browser is a good option. But suppose if you really want to maybe write a full-fledged automation, maybe if you want to write a full-fledged JavaScript code, then browser is not the right thing for that. In that case, you need something other than browser, and that is called as Visual Studio Code. Some of you might have heard about it, some of you might have used it a little, some of you may not have heard about it. That's very normal. But this is a brilliant editor that is used. Basically, it is developed in JavaScript and it is designed for JavaScript, and it is a very powerful IDE. It is called as IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So it lets me write JavaScript code. It is completely free of cost, very lightweight, and backed by Microsoft. So it is a very powerful tool, and nothing I need to pay for this. So whenever people want to write JavaScript, 95% people prefer this Visual Studio Code. And I'll talk in depth how to install Visual Studio Code, how to install Node.js and all those things, right? So don't worry. Now, coming to Node.js, some of you must have understood that we can write JavaScript code within the browser. I just talked about something called as Visual Studio Code. Now, you must be wondering, where does Node.js fit into picture? Now, let us talk about Node.js. Some of you who might have worked into Java, you must have heard about this term called as JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So, what does this mean? If I want to run Java, sorry, not JavaScript, if I want to run Java inside my computer, what I need to do is I need to have JRE, or basically the execution environment for Java. Otherwise, I'll not be able to run any Java code inside my computer. Similarly, similar to JRE, if I want to execute JavaScript inside my computer or inside my machine, I need something called as Node.js. So Node.js is similar to JRE, but it is only for JavaScript. So if I have Node.js on my machine, then I will be able to execute JavaScript. Without Node.js, I will be able to execute JavaScript, but only within the browser. But outside the browser, if I want to run JavaScript, I need Node.js. I hope it is making sense. If you have any doubts, any questions, you have the chat session, right? So please do write your queries in the chat session if you have any questions, any doubts. But I hope whatever I've shared so far, it should be very basic, very simple, right? This is how I'm going to make it, make this learning for you. Very simple, very basic, right? And I'm pretty sure that some of you must be wondering, JavaScript is not that difficult. He's making it slightly simpler for me, right? This is what my objective is. You should get more confident. Okay, so let us move on. Let's talk about JavaScript further. So I don't like these errors again. So I can click on this button, first option. Second option is I can type this clear method with parenthesis. So it is going to clear it. There's a third option, even a faster option. Simply press Ctrl and L. I, I love this option. Why? Because it not only works within browser, it also works in my command prompt, in my Mac machine, or even in VS Code, right? So Control and L key. Okay, so this is like a very handy shortcut. So let's move on about JavaScript. So in JavaScript, spacings does not matter. Suppose if I type like this, if I want to basically do 4 by 2, so I can write like this. See, it is actually giving me the correct output, but readability point of view, it is looking like a very poorly written code. So spacings are allowed in JavaScript, but we should have optimal number of spaces. For example, I think one space is enough. Okay, this much, or maybe I can even have like this. So some people will go with this option, some people will go with this option, but I think we should have optimal number of spaces. Okay, so and one more thing, I can even use this console as a calculator. Okay, then we have something called as a modulus operator. If I want to, let's say, divide 7 by 2 and I want to find out the remainder, so how do I do? I have to use this modulus operator. Some people call it remainder operator or modulo operator, doesn't matter. So what does it do? It simply gives me what? The remainder if I'll try to divide 7 by 2. So what is the remainder? It is 1 because 7 is not fully divisible by 2, right? So it should give me output as 1. So where do I really use this remainder operator in real life? We really use this remainder when I want to find out if a number is divisible by 2 or if a number is not divisible by 2. This is where we usually use this remainder or modulus operator. Okay, then let me talk about something else. Suppose if I want to, let's say, calculate squares or maybe cubes in JavaScript, how do I do? Some of you might think, can I use this 2 caret or 2 something like this? No, this doesn't work. Suppose if you want to do basically 2 square 2 or maybe 5 square 2, how do I do that in JavaScript? It is very simple again. Let me show you. So how do I do? It is very simple. Just use 2 star. What does this mean? 2 star star 2 means 2 to the power of 2. And this star star is called as exponentiation operator in JavaScript. Okay, so and I'll be sharing all these notes with you, right? So you'll actually really love it. Okay, so there is one more way. Suppose if I want to calculate, let's say 5 to the power 2, I can do 5 star star 2, which is 25, which is very simple. There is something else in JavaScript which is called as math operator, which is what? MATH, and M is in capital. So I can do something like this, math.power. Okay, I can do something like this. So this means 2 to the power 3, which gives me 8. I can also do 2 double star 3, but I can also use math.power. Now you must be wondering, should I go with this or should I go with this? You can go with any of them, doesn't matter. But I think this is slightly simpler to read than this one. Okay, so I think JavaScript is very simple, and this is my mindset. I'll keep on reminding you JavaScript is easy. Right? Please say this in your head, JavaScript is easy. I'm getting better. I will be able to figure Playwright and JavaScript out. Okay, right. And then we have something in JavaScript which is called NaN. What is NaN? It is very simple. So if I try to divide 0 by 0, which is odd in JavaScript, and that is NaN. So if you try to divide 0 by 0, you get NaN. So what is NaN? With this starting and last n is capitalized, it means it stands for not a number. If you do the same thing in Java, you will not get NaN. You will get something different. Okay. So in JavaScript, if you try to divide 1 by 0, you will get infinity. Right? But if you try to divide 0 by 0, you get NaN. So this NaN is not an error in JavaScript. It simply is a numeric value, which means NaN. Okay. And just like infinity, if you try to add or maybe divide something or multiply something with NaN, you will get NaN only. Same thing. Okay, so this is not an error in JavaScript, and this is something that you should know. And last thing about JavaScript that I want to teach you in this demos class is how to create a variable, which is something which is very, very, you can say, fundamental or basic in JavaScript. So how do I create a variable? It is very simple. There are three ways that we can use variables. So the first thing is I can use let, right? So this is like a keyword. Then we have something called as const. Some of you might have heard about these keywords, some of you might not. Don't worry, they are very simple. So, and then we have let, we have const, and then we have var. So the very first thing is we should never ever use var. This is a very poor way of writing. Why it is not the right way, I'll talk about it in my later sessions. But for now, just understand that if you want to create a variable in JavaScript, you should use either let or you should use const, which is the modern way of creating variables. But var is something you should never ever never ever use. So coming to let and const, how do I create a variable in JavaScript? Very simple. You can use let followed by the variable name like this. Variable equal to, let's say I can write like this. So I have created a variable called some name and I'm giving it an initial value of Piyush. So why I'm using single quote or double quote? Because these are group of characters, right? So in JavaScript, if I want to write a group of characters together, I have to wrap them either in single quote or in double quote, or there is something called as backtick key. Now, yeah, regarding backtick key, this is very interesting. Some of you, can you please try to find out where is backtick key on your uh, keyboard? Some of you might have heard about backtick key, some of you might not have heard about it. Please try to find it out. It is very interesting. Or you can even Google it out. That's absolutely normal. Anyone who can tell me where is the backtick key on your keyboard? Anyone? Or maybe you can type in the chat itself. That is absolutely fine. Anyone who can tell me? Oh, some of you are writing in chat. Yes. Would you integrate an AI agent to write coding? Yes. Javier was asking me. Sorry, Javier, I didn't see your question. I just saw it now. Would you integrate an AI agent to write coding? We will talk a lot about AI. In fact, Playwright has now come up with some interesting things. Very recently, they've come up with something called as copy prompt. Okay. So next question, Javier was asking what changes will have to be made to move existing Selenium code to Playwright. This is a very advanced thing basically. At the moment, Selenium is completely different than Playwright. If you really want to cover, I mean, basically rewrite your entire Selenium scripts to Playwright, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time. You firstly need to understand Playwright very thoroughly. You have to understand the Playwright library. You have to understand about Playwright framework structure, the config file, how does it work, and most importantly, you have to understand the Playwright architecture. Okay, so coming to that, yeah, I was talking about what? I was talking about the backtick key. So backtick key is just below the escape key, right within your keyboard. Now look into your keyboard. Within the sorry, below the escape key, you must be seeing this slanted arrow, sorry, slanted single quote like this. This is called as backtick key. So in JavaScript, in order to represent strings, I can use single quote, I can use double quote, right? So this is single quote. Previously, I was using double quote. I can even use backtick key, which is this one, and it has a very major role in JavaScript. So these are the three ways I can create a variable. So coming to this particular part, if it is not clear, imagine that you have created a box and you have put this label some name into that box, and you have added this value Piyush into it. So that is what it is. We have created a variable or a box called some name and have dumped a value called Piyush inside it. Okay, so this is about what? This is about pure JavaScript. Okay, so before I move on, any questions you like to ask me? Because I really want to talk something about Playwright now before I get into questions. Any questions you have at the moment? Okay, let me see if some of you are asking questions. Okay, so but were you able to find this backtick key? Right, it is very very interesting actually. Right, so let us talk a little bit about Playwright. So this tool is amazingly good and a lot of companies have started working on Playwright nowadays, and it has some amazing features compared to the typical automation tools that are available in the market like Cypress or Selenium. So before we dive into Playwright, let me give you a very quick story about Playwright. So Playwright was actually created by the same folks who built Puppeteer. Some of you might have heard about Puppeteer. It is related to Google. It is a popular automation tool for Chrome while they were working at Google. Later, those same folks left Google and they joined this company called Microsoft, and that is where Playwright was born. So, Playwright is actually developed by Microsoft. It is completely free of cost, completely open source. Some of you might be wondering, is there any difference between open source and free? Yes. When I say free, it means it is completely free of cost. I don't have to pay in a single penny. When it comes to open source, it means that Playwright's code is actually available. It is available on the internet. I can see how they have written Playwright. So Some tools might be free, but they may or may not be open source. It means their source code is not available for the common man to see. In the case of Playwright, not only it is free, completely free, even their source code is available on the internet also. Okay, but here's the twist. Playwright isn't just another puppeteer. It takes the browser automation to the completely next level. Okay, so while Puppeteer mainly works with Chrome, Playwright, if I talk about it, supports all the major browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and even Microsoft Edge out of the box. You see, you can call Playwright as Puppeteer 2.0. You can call it smarter, faster, and way more reliable. So, if you're looking to do cross-browser testing, maybe auto waiting for elements, maybe if you want to handle multiple tabs in your browsers, or even write tests in different languages like JavaScript. Some of you might be comfortable in Python or maybe C Sharp or maybe Java, then Playwright is a game changer. So while my screen is still visible, let me show you something. So I'll open Google and I'll type something called as GitHub. Okay, let me close this browser console and I'll type something here. GitHub space Playwright. Why am I showing you this? So this is the official repository of Playwright. What do I mean? You can see that it is a very active community. This is the exact source code of Playwright. You can see how the developers have really written Playwright. So using this source code, you can create your own Playwright. Yeah, the source code is completely available, right? So you see, so many people are watching, so many people have forked, right? And they do some very frequent releases. Just 2 days back, they released a version called 153.2. 600, more than 600 people are actually actively contributing for Playwright, and it is supporting these many languages. So if I scroll down, yeah, before that, I can show you. See, yesterday they did something, last week they did something, last week they did something, 7 hours ago, 1 hour ago. So this Playwright is actively being worked upon by the developers. You don't have to worry about the code. I'm just telling you that Playwright is very actively worked upon right now. Okay, so is Playwright just an automation tool? I don't think so, because Microsoft says that Playwright is actually a framework for web testing and automation. It allows testing Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit with a single API. When I first heard about Chromium, I had no idea. I was not sure, is Chrome and Chromium same, or is it different, or what? Let me give you a very simple example. So Chromium is actually something that is like a base, and it is developed by Google Chrome only. So this is completely free and open source. So Chromium source is available for everyone to see, right? So what Google Chrome people have done is they have taken this base called Chromium, they have added Google's logo, they have added Google's branding, and they created a brand new browser called Chrome. But Chrome internally uses Chromium only. Now, a lot of you might have worked upon Microsoft Edge also, right? Microsoft Edge is also built from Chromium only. So both Chrome and Microsoft Edge uses the same base called Chromium. So Chromium itself is a full-fledged browser in itself, but it does not have Google branding. Okay, while Google Chrome has Google branding, Google logo, and Google specific features. Similar to Microsoft Edge has Microsoft Edge branding, Microsoft Edge logo, and Microsoft Edge related features. Okay, so you can see that it supports all these different browsers. And some of you might have heard about this term called as headless execution or headed, right? But may or may not be aware. In very simple terms, headless execution means you're going to run your automation script, but you will not see anything. It is like an invisible browser that is working, but behind the scenes, you will not be able to see. And then we have something which is opposite of headless execution, that is headed. Headed means a browser will open right inside, right in front of you. You will be able to see what is going on. If Playwright is opening a window, you will see that window opening. If Playwright is typing something into that window, you will be able to see it. So that is called as headless and versus headed. So now you might be wondering, should I go with headed or should I go with headless? In simple terms, while you're really creating your automation script, you really want to see again and again whether your automation script is working fine or is there any issue. In that case, you really don't need headless execution. You actually need headless execution, maybe for running your regression suite, or maybe for running your entire automation suite in CI/CD pipelines or something. In that case, you may go with headless execution. But while you are really creating an automation suite in local machine, you really don't need headless execution in that case. Okay. So installing Playwright, if we talk about, it is damn simple, right? Let me show you, right, how we can actually install Playwright. So you can even start doing it with me, right? Even if you're not able to do, that is absolutely okay. You will get this recording, everything. So I have a folder created which is called as Playwright. What I need to do is I can create one more folder here. So I'm currently on a Mac machine. You can do the same thing on your Windows machine also. So I can write like this, Playwright, say July 2. Okay, I've created a brand new folder. What do I need to do is I'll open Visual Studio Code. Okay, and what do? I'll open this new window. So inside this new window, what do I do? So once, suppose if you have opened Visual Studio Code for the very first time, this is how it looks like. It is brand new. Okay, what you need to do is go to File. Okay, you don't have to do this. Simply go to File, Open Folder, and then inside the Open folder, go to Downloads. Inside Downloads, I can go to this Playwright. I have just created this brand new folder, which is Playwright July 2. Click on the Open. I'm just telling you how to install Playwright right inside 5 minutes. It is very, very simple. Okay, so I've just opened this folder now, and since there is nothing over here, it is an empty folder. Now, you might see the font is very small actually. In that case, since I'm on Mac, I can press Command and plus. In your case, if you're on Windows, you can do Control and plus to increase or decrease the font size. See, Control minus, Control plus. Now, you can adjust it accordingly. Now, what you need to do, you have to open a command prompt. Now, inside your Windows, you have to go to CMD and you can open. But with VS Code, you don't even have to do it because Visual Studio Code has its own command prompt, its own terminal. You don't have to switch back and forth between VS Code and the command prompt. So how do we open? Very simple. Simply go to Terminal, New Terminal. So this is how we open the terminal. Okay, there's even a second way of doing it, which is even simpler. Simply click on this to close the terminal. Can you see this icon over here? So I need to click on this and I need to click on these three dots and click on the terminal. So this is one of my preferred way. Okay, very recently I have learned there's even a third way, and that is what? Simply press the control and the backtick key. Right? See, control and the backtick key. And backtick key is right below the escape key or above the tab key. So this is a very handy shortcut, right? And I really love it. Control backtick key. Okay, so this is how I can open the terminal. Now, what do I want to do? I want to install Playwright. How do I do it? It is very simple. Okay, I can install Playwright only when if I have Node.js installed on my machine. So how do I check if Node.js installed on my machine? Firstly, I can write node space hyphen v. What does it tell me? Yes, it means it is clearly telling me that Node.js is already installed on my machine and it has a version 20.14.0. In your case, before running Playwright, simply type this command in the command prompt, node space hyphen v. This hyphen v or dash v is together. There is no space between. Now, I have already confirmed Node is installed. What do I do next? I want to check if Playwright is there. Sorry, I want to install Playwright now. How do I do? Simply run this command npm init Playwright @latest and hit enter. Same command you can run on Mac and same command you can run on Windows. Try it with me. Anyone who wants to try. Now it is giving me an option. Do you want to use TypeScript or JavaScript? So since I want to go with a simpler language, which is JavaScript, I'll press the down arrow key. So I'll select JavaScript and I'll hit enter. Now it is asking me, where do you want to store all your tests? So I can select this test folder. So I can simply hit enter. It is going to select this test folder automatically. Now it is asking me add a GitHub Actions workflow. This is something I can simply hit enter to take the default value, which is false. Next, it is asking me install Playwright browsers can be done manually. What does it mean? I already have browsers. I already have an Arc browser on my Mac. I already have Google Chrome, right? I don't have Firefox. I also have Safari browser here. Why do I need to install Playwright browsers? It is because some of you who might have worked in Selenium might be able to understand it. It is a nightmare in Selenium, at least before version 4, right? Because when the browser's version kept on changing, it was very difficult because you have to constantly download this new binary, which is called browser driver, specifically for Selenium. But in the case of Playwright, it is so automatic, so simple, right? What it is saying is Playwright downloads its own versions of Chromium, its own Firefox, its own Safari, right? So if I talk about Safari browser is only available on Mac. But with Playwright, if you install in Windows, you get its own Safari, but for Windows. That is, yeah, that is possible. So in your case, it has to be true. Don't use it to false. So if you actually change it to false, it is not going to work for you. So simply hit enter. Okay, now it is installing Playwright, and since I did it yesterday in my corporate training batch, I already have installed the browsers. So it is not going to install browsers for me. But in your case, if you have never installed Playwright before, it will take at least 5 to 10 minutes because it will start downloading Chromium, it will start downloading Firefox and WebKit. So in my case, it is very fast. In your case, it might take around 4 minutes or something. right? So see, my entire Playwright framework is ready. So I have something called as node modules folder. I have something called as test folder and test examples folder. And this is the heart of Playwright, which is called as playwright.config.js. I won't talk much about this playwright.config.js, but I can just tell you that this is the heart of Playwright, and this is the configuration file wherein we can make any kind of Playwright configurations of any Playwright changes. Okay, and then this is the very important file which is called package.json. So this is where your entire project information lies. So this is a curly brace start, curly brace end, and it is usually a JSON file. Okay, so every node project will have a package.json file, but every node project might or might not have playwright config file. Why? Suppose I'm a JavaScript developer. I'm creating or basically building a new web application. In that case, I have nothing to do with Playwright. So I will still have packet.json, but I will not have playwright.config.js, right? But if I want to use I want to use Playwright in my machine, I also need to have package.json. So this is a mandatory file. Doesn't matter whether I use Playwright or not. Okay. So what does this name means? This is the same name what I have given for my folder. Version is starts as 1.0.0. The scripts is an empty section. I'll talk about the script section. It is a very important feature. You can pass your name as author, right? In my case, I can pass my name. It is absolutely optional. So these fields are completely optional. You can pass some value, you can remove it. So since I installed Playwright, so you see, this is the version of Playwright that has been installed, which is 1.53.2. Now, some of you must be wondering why we have a dot in between, why we have this dot in between. I can tell you, this is like a major version. This is like a minor version, this 53. And this too is like a cosmetic or patch version. What do I mean? If Playwright comes up with a very major version, very major change, then it will simply increment this part. It will be like 2 dot something or 3 dot something. But majority of times they usually come up with small changes. So in that case, it will be more like 1.54, 1.55, 1.56, and so on. If there's a very small incremental change that they have just come up with. So instead of changing this, they will come up with a patch version. So this is called major, this is called minor, this is called patch version. So this is how it changes. Okay. And along with this dependency, they also bring this dependency which is for Node.js. You don't have to worry about this. So we have just verified that Playwright has been installed successfully on my machine. How do I validate again? I can open this node modules folder. So this is the place where all my libraries, all my third-party dependencies are installed. So if you see, if I click on it, @playwright/test, this is the dependency that I've just installed. So all my dependencies, all the packages, JavaScript packages that I install, I usually stored inside this folder. So when I say install, it doesn't mean it is like a software that gets installed. Basically, inside this particular folder, Playwright has come and sitting into it. Okay, so this is about Playwright. Any questions, guys? So I think I tried to kept it very simple. Okay, so I think this is it for now. I really want to give you some time to ask me questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Okay, somebody is asking me, can you please share all the steps to set up the Playwright? Sure, Javid, I'll definitely share. Whatever I've shared with you, right? I can prepare a Google Doc and I'll share it with you, including the screenshot, so that it becomes very simple. I usually share it with all my students so that it becomes very simple. Okay, now can we use Playwright for mobile automation? Okay, so to answer your question, I can do that. I can give it is not full-fledged possible, but let me just show you something. So if this is my application, I can go to right click and inspect. Can you see this icon over here? So using this icon, I can toggle my device to simulate like a maybe iPad mini or maybe Pixel or maybe iPhone or something, right? So now it is behaving like a mobile device. Make sense? So this is possible in Playwright. Okay, but if you're talking about a full-fledged mobile automation, then there are better tools in the market. For example, APM. Even Selenium is not there. APM is there, right? So this is something that is possible with Playwright. Okay. So next question, if at all you have, can we use Playwright for mobile automation? Mobile automation is possible in Playwright. Okay. So looks like Naveen Raj is telling. Yeah, it is possible actually.
Ashmit, I have a doubt.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. In fact, my name is not Ashmet. So this is the user that I'm using for logging in. My name is Piyush Gupta. Yeah. Please go ahead. Yes, Naveen Raj. Somebody's raised their hand. Javier.
Piyush, can't we use Android Studio or Eclipse by using plugins?
Please come again, Javier. I didn't get your question.
Can't we use Android Studio and Eclipse by using plugins?
So, what is this question for? Is this question for Playwright or what? I'm not understanding exactly.
As of now, we are using editor like Visual Studio, right? So can't
Correct.
we use Eclipse by
Oh,
installing plugins?
okay. Yeah, definitely you can do that. But if I talk about Eclipse, or there's one more very common use editor, which is called as IntelliJ. You might have heard about IntelliJ also, right? So they are mostly developed for Java. So they have very, very limited JavaScript support. Of course, you can use Eclipse or maybe IntelliJ for running JavaScript, but it will severely limit your capability to write powerful JavaScript code. So for writing JavaScript code, more than 95% people in the world, they
Use
prefer Visual Studio Code. But to answer your question, it is possible, yes. But I will not recommend it. Why? It will severely limit your coding experience. So I'll never do it personally. Please ask me
For
if
my
you have any questions.
question,
Yes, Naveen.
yeah, I'm asking one question from in chat. So, which is the better playwright automation, TypeScript or JavaScript?
Okay, so see, there is no right or wrong answer for that. It totally depends upon person to person. Like some of you, maybe
Correct.
who have, maybe some of you maybe are coming from Selenium background. For instance, you might have worked on Java, so you might have some
Correct.
basic knowledge on Java. You know about types. In that case, you
Correct.
can start with TypeScript. In that case, I would recommend you start with TypeScript. But suppose if you're,
Okay.
let's say, coming to Playwright with no coding background, nothing. You are exactly like me. Lot of fear,
Mm,
lot of
mm,
doubt,
mm,
but you're still wondering, can I really
mm.
do it? In that case, I'll not suggest you TypeScript. I'll suggest you go with
Yeah.
JavaScript. Why? It is more
So,
simpler. Yeah.
okay, fine. So I have completed in one project in entire automation in Playwright.
Okay.
So I did not know base structure. So I am using for um, watching some video in YouTube for 2 3 videos. I complete the entire project one flow for end-to-end testing.
Okay. Okay. That's really great to hear that. So, what is
Yeah.
the?
So if I
Okay. Hmm.
share my screen,
I'm not
so
sure if you have the. I don't know actually, but you can tell me right now. I
you
don't think you have the privilege. I don't know.
so I have completed the entire code. Just it's proper
Okay.
structure or not, I can improve myself. That's it. So I'm
Oh,
asking.
okay. Okay. Great. Great to hear that. So, Naveen,
So
yeah, I would really.
you're only the organization, so you give the permission to.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that. Never mind. Okay, but I'd still like to ask you a little bit more about you. So, can you please tell me slightly more about your experience and what are your goals from this particular course? So that I can accordingly, based upon the people who are joining in this course, accordingly, I can customize my training accordingly. I try to keep it very, very simple for today because majority of people have done nothing about coding. That is why I kept it very,
Correct.
very simple.
Correct. I'm
Yes.
using for different testing, AP testing in and load test, mobile test, and normal end-to-end testing and performance testing. I'm using the tag-based testing, so I'm done in all already. That's it.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm using page object model and
Hmm.
report section already report and HTML report already done.
If you are using such
So
high
I
functional
need
words, right,
some
other people might get scared about page object model and all those things. But don't worry, guys, I'll teach you
uh,
all of this stuff. Don't worry. Yeah, but it's just that
correct,
Naveen has
correct, correct.
slightly more experience than you. That's it. Yeah, Naveen.
So I
Please go ahead.
have 6 month experience in Playwright I'm using. So
Okay.
I'm joined this call particularly one reason.
Uh-huh. So you're basically willing to
So I
learn more
have
about
sort of
Playwright. You want to learn more about JavaScript or maybe more into advanced Playwright or
I'm
what
using
exactly?
JavaScript. That's it.
Okay, okay, right.
So I
Okay.
have a lot of questions. So this section, I think I'm joining. This is advanced level section. So I'm asking doubt. I'm clarified some other things I'm joining. So that's it.
Yeah, definitely. If you have some doubts and any questions, you can ask me after the training. You can maybe ping me on the WhatsApp group. We have a dedicated WhatsApp group for this entire training. Or if suppose if you have some
Okay.
specific query that you want to ask me in private, you can drop me a private message on WhatsApp. For sure, I'll be able to
Definitely,
answer you.
definitely. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Sure.
Yes, yes. See, my role is very, very simple to get you from where you are to where you want to go. Because I know I've struggled a lot in coding. I knew how it
Mhm.
feels when you really want to grow, but there's nobody who can truly guide you, support you. Basically, we need mentorship, but we don't know how do we get mentorship from? Who do we get it? Right. So
Correct.
today I just try to give you a small glimpse and a small hope that it is possible to get into coding, right? So some of you,
Okay.
if you're still wondering, am I good enough? Can I really do it? The answer is yes, you can. All it takes is just a little bit of leap of faith, right? Trust in me. I'm there to help you, guide you as a trainer or a mentor, as an elder, whatever you may say, right?
Mm.
And I will always help you all, right? So
So one,
yeah, so I would really
yeah.
recommend you
So one
guys,
thing. So
if you,
you
yes, I mean, you have any questions?
yeah. One question is the last question.
Yeah, please.
So you show one source code in Chrome, right?
Uh-huh.
GitHub Playwright. It's actual structured project or
This is okay. So this GitHub repository that I showed you, yeah, this particular page, this is the actual
yeah,
Playwright
correct.
code. This is, see, the name itself is Microsoft slash Playwright. This is the official
Mm,
web GitHub repository of Playwright, where whatever changes they are making in Playwright, everything is available for public to see. But
mm,
for a beginner, they may or may not be able to understand this. And yeah, one last thing I want to explain you. So anything if you want to learn about Playwright, so they have their official website, which is what? Playwright.dev.
oh,
So this is their
okay.
official website. And here it clearly tells you it supports all these languages. Node.js, which means JavaScript and TypeScript. Playwright is also
Yeah.
available in Python, then Java, then .NET. Okay, tomorrow we'll talk
Okay.
more about these Playwright features. But today I did not get much time, but tomorrow I'll start it. Right. So
Yeah.
see, that is very, very important. I'll break everything down in very, very simple terms. And some of you, if you are thinking, is this course for me? Right, I would say that yes, it is. Right, I'll make it very, very simple for you. So just take a leap of faith. Right, just get started. Right, if you're hanging in the doubt, should I join, should I don't join? Right, I would tell you this is the cheapest price that you'll ever get. Because outside, if you'll take a one-on-one training with me, I'm a very expensive trainer, to be very honest. Right, so I'm a very expensive trainer if you want a one-on-one coaching with me. But here you are actually getting coaching for peanuts, for nothing actually. 1,600 rupees, Indian rupees is nothing nowadays. Because if you'll go outside anywhere, they'll charge more than maybe 20-25,000 rupees at least. Nothing less than that. So it is a very, very cheap cost. But doesn't mean that you are just paying 1,600. The course is actually cheap. No, you're going to get a lot of value. I sincerely hope that you must have gotten a glimpse of what value you're going to get. So I'll try to make it very, very simple for you. If you have any questions, any doubts, I see so many of you. And by the way, thank you so much, guys, who actually responded to my survey yesterday. I really appreciate it. Right. So I see some people like, yeah, I can see Rekha actually. So she responded that I think she has just no idea about automation. I see some more people like Avinash, maybe Sachin, Madhur, right? And I would recommend some people who don't have a name, please try to add your name so that it will become easier for me to understand. If I just see user one, I don't understand whom I'm talking to. So just try to add your name as well. So before we end this call, please ask me if you have any queries, anything. No question is silly actually. Trust me, I'll never doubt, never judge you.
Yeah, Ashmit, I got sorry, this is Yasin here. I
Yes,
got an update that yeah, Ashmit, this training will be taken by Gupta.
it's me only.
So
Actually, see, the problem is what? I'm using this account by Ashmit Bathula. I'm not Ashmit, by the way.
okay,
My name is Piyush Gupta.
okay,
Okay.
okay. That's why I got
Yes.
confused.
Okay, okay. In case if you're getting confused, okay, let me tell you. So, in case if you're still wondering, my name is Piyush Gupta. This is your trainer.
Mhm.
This is just the name that I'm using, but I'm not Ashmit. I'm Piyush. Okay. Yes,
Piyush,
yes.
will you
Okay, I just have like right now there is with Playwright there is EA is being implemented.
Yes.
Are you covering that?
Yes. I will be covering AI part as well.
So, but it will be the what's the duration if you are covering it? How many hours?
It is not about ours. So whatever important stuff I feel is required for a playwright, I will cover most of it. So okay, let me give you a very simple
And
example.
again, we have to have the separate setup and then creating the
Hmm.
test cases with the AI itself and then
Right,
creating the
right, right.
code.
Yes, I'll
All
talk
those
about
things
something.
will you be
So to
covering?
be honest, when I'm teaching, I don't look at by the hours actually. I don't look at the clock at times. Right. So
Okay.
yes. So I'll give you a very simple example. Very recently, Playwright has come up with a tool called as Copy Prompt, which is an AI tool. So let's say if you are running your Playwright script and you're facing some issue, you might be tempted to maybe post your error. You might take a screenshot and paste into ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or something. But you don't have
Hmm.
to do all of it. Playwright has come up with a button called copy prompt, which is going to copy this entire error for you, and it is going to maybe do it for you. I'll show you this entire
What
thing
about
live actually.
MCP?
Sorry, please come again.
MCP server? MCP server?
I can talk about MCP, but at the moment I have not planned to cover MCP. But if required, I can cover it. See, it is this course is not for me. This course is for you guys. So if required, I can
Yes.
cover it.
Yeah. And you're covering the manual, that's the UI, like Playwright UI, and also the API part end to end.
Absolutely, yes. I'm going to cover Playwright UI and the API part. See, where is it? If you see in this Playwright course, I think yeah, section number 10 is clearly talking about API testing with Playwright. I'll talk in very much detail how to do really API testing. Yes.
Okay,
So
what
to
about the
answer,
framework
yes,
for both?
yes, we'll be talking about the framework also, and I'll be talking not just about the framework and Playwright. I'll be talking about a lot of good practices. I'll also talk about bad practices so that we know what not to do. Because it's not just about writing code; it is about writing the better code.
Please,
Yes,
will
that's
you cover industry level framework here?
Uh, can you please tell me who's it speaking? I cannot see your name.
Javier, this side. I'm asking you,
Yeah.
will you cover industry level framework here, including API with UI?
Oh yes, absolutely. That is what I was mentioning actually. Right. So we'll be talking everything what is required from industry point of view. Why? Ultimately, I want to showcase my skills that I've really worked on Playwright. So after this training, if you've really practiced, see, my job is to give you my mindset, my thought process, my knowledge. This is something I can share with you. Unfortunately, I can't do practice on your behalf. That is something I really expect you to do. So if you are really able to follow whatever I'm teaching you, I'm being very confident that you can easily tell people that you have good Playwright exposure
what
with
experience
confidence.
we can, if after the completion of the course, if we put the effort, whatever you teach, if we are good with that, then how much
Okay.
experience we can put and
I
try
can
for that?
I can easily say that you can easily write 1.5 to 2 years. Very easily. If you are doing regular practice, if you are covering everything what I'm teaching. So again, it is like condition. So some people just join, they listen to the recordings, but they don't end up practicing. So see, there are different people with different mindset and different, you can say, goals. So if your goal is like me, who really want to grow ahead in life, then in that case you can actually pick up at a fast pace, right? In that case you can definitely say you have at least 1.5 to 2 years of experience in Playwright for sure.
Okay, it started like 3 to 4 years back. I think pretty much that is
Okay,
the
okay,
time. And how
okay.
is the just wanted the a general word, like
Huh?
Playwright, how many years it may survive, because right now AI is implemented, and
Hmm.
we think like there's a lot of impact from the AI.
I totally get that. So I usually people ask this question to me a lot. Piyush, I'm currently into software. I'm currently into manual testing. I'm currently into automation testing. AI is coming up big time. Is it going to take my job? Will I be able to survive in this AI time nowadays or what? I just tell them, see, AI is there to help us, support us. It is not there to take away our jobs. So we have to be smarter how to use AI. I'll tell you a very simple instance. If I'm getting any issue, I can use AI to help it resolve faster. Why to, without AI, I may take maybe 5 hours or even one full day to resolve even a simple issue. I can do that without AI. But with AI, I can do my work a lot faster. So if a manager, my team sees me that I'm actually efficient, I'm actually better, I'm doing performing even well. With AI, I think I don't have to worry about losing my job. So AI, see, it is all about mindset, how you look at AI. If you look at AI, you have this thought about fear and all, then yes, it is not a very good feeling. But if you think like me, if you think that I'm a smart dude, I'm going to use AI to my advantage. I'm not here to let AI take away my job. You understand? Some people can make money
Yes,
in recession. Some people can lose a lot of money in recession. It totally depends on person to
yes.
person.
Yes, I have one more question. Like
Yeah.
in the AI, if you are just with the Playwright, are you putting any tool along with the UI so that we can at least a demo of one of the scenario, like update means creating the because AI, it speaks like once we have this story, if we update those things, that will
Hmm.
create the scenarios as like manual, and then the same scenarios will taken up if we once we provide the like swagger, if we provide it to the AI, it will
Okay.
convert to the, and then that will provide it as a Playwright code, and then we can run and we can get this status. So are you
Okay.
covering in such a way for anything?
Yes, in
with
fact,
AI?
I will be sharing a couple of applications with you that you can actually do. So they are very, very smart, very robust applications that you can actually do for your hands-on experience. So
Yes, but
regarding
you
AI,
have
yeah,
to start
hmm,
the things so that we should understand how exactly the things are going, because we have the understanding, but we have not worked on that.
I totally get that. Don't worry. At this moment, you will have a lot of questions, a lot of doubts. At this moment, I can just tell you that have a little bit of faith on me. If you like what I
Okay.
have heard so far, right, trust me, I know what I'm doing. I have 19 years. I've survived in this industry for 19 years, and I've given so many corporate trainings, so many one-on-one trainings, right? And I know what industry needs in this today's
Mhm.
trends, and I teach people accordingly. So trust me,
Okay.
after this training, you will have a very good exposure with Playwright. Of course, I won't
Yeah,
claim
I.
that you will become an expert overnight because you will have to become an
Yes.
expert. It might take
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
Yes. Any other question, or maybe anyone else who might be thinking of asking a question,
What is
don't worry,
duration?
guys. Yes, Javi.
What is duration of this course?
So this we have actually planned somewhere around 40-45 hours. Can be little less, can be little more. Again, I don't go by the hours. I go by the content. If I'm happy with whatever I've delivered, whether it gets delivered in 40 hours or 40 hours or maybe 50 hours, how does it matter? So I don't go by the hours, to be very honest. That's the answer to your question. Ultimately, it's about you should feel confident. You should feel I'm getting more value from this course. That is when I truly feel that I've given my best. Otherwise, the general as what we thought about, to be very specific, it is 40-45 hours. Can be little less, little more. I think somebody else raised their hands. I think it is Pradeep. Yes, Pradeep. Please feel
Mm,
free to unmute.
Hi, Piyush.
Hi, Pradeep.
Actually, I am totally into manual testing.
Okay. You are
But
like my brother
uh,
then. I was exactly
yeah,
like you. Tell me.
yeah. Actually, you told me that supporting the software is also there, VS
Okay.
Code and all. I don't know
Okay.
those. I mean, how to install and and you configure that Playwright right now with
Okay.
command prompt.
Okay.
I think so, but
Okay.
I am
Okay.
not understand that. You
Don't worry.
can,
Huh.
yeah,
So,
how
Pradeep,
to install from here to take a software and all.
okay, okay. I'm itching to talk to you in Hindi because I know you'll be more comfortable in that, but unfortunately, I can't speak. I have to speak only in English. Right.
It's
To answer
okay,
your
no
question,
problem. You
yeah,
can speak in
I cannot. I
Hindi,
can only
Tamil,
speak in English. Why?
Marathi,
Okay, I can only speak in English. Why? Because
Kannada,
other people are
Telugu.
like they might not be able to understand it. So I have to respect everybody here,
Yes,
right? But
actually Kannadiga. I know every language. Tulu, Marathi, Hindi, Telugu,
wow, you are so much better
Tamil,
than me. I know only two
Kannada.
languages, only English and Hindi. Punjabi I
Okay,
can understand. I cannot speak either.
okay,
That's
okay,
it. Yeah. So to answer your question, I'll be sharing from scratch how to install VS Code, how to install Node.js, everything, step by step.
okay,
Don't worry. And if you get stuck somewhere, you have my number. You can share me screenshots,
okay.
right? You can ping me on WhatsApp. You have me, like an elder, like a guide who is there to guide you, support you. You're not just paying for the course. You're paying for mentorship, guys.
I
You are
mean,
paying for mentorship.
yeah, coming to the framework and
Hmm.
you can cover in this course like project example for covering one project like Flipkart or any airlines
Okay,
end to
so
end.
yeah, so what I can do is I have actually picked up a couple of websites like Flipkart is it. It's a very basic website. I can show you one very advanced website which is Redbus. If you actually go into this website, Redbus, which is actually very frequently used website for booking your bus tickets, it has a very advanced layout. I specifically plan to use it and show you because it is not at all easy to automate this. If you want to let's say select your from and to, it is a very very difficult field to be very honest. It is not easy, right? So I can show you these advanced nails as well, absolutely. And if you have some special requirement, you can share it with me, guys. I can accommodate in my course if the time permits, of course, because this course is not for me. This course is for you. I want to give you a lot of value. You should feel that you actually get 10 times more what you paid me for. Okay. So, okay. Now Geeta has raised her hand. Yes, Geeta. Please unmute.
Yeah, you said if somebody from Java background, they can learn TypeScript. Can I continue with this course because most of the topics are from JavaScript? It might be a dumb question, just to
No, no, this is firstly, no question is dumb actually, Geeta. I really want to tell you, no question is dumb. So, if you are I'm not understanding if your question is what if you're from Java background and can you really run JavaScript? Is that your question? Please correct me.
No, you said learning TypeScript would be a better option, right? But most of the topics what you have covered are from JavaScript.
Oh, okay. I got it. So that is your question. See, if you really want to learn TypeScript, you have to first learn JavaScript. Because JavaScript, if you have learned, then 90% of TypeScript you have actually learned. Why? Because TypeScript is like, for TypeScript, JavaScript is the base. You cannot learn TypeScript without skipping JavaScript. No, that doesn't work that way, right? So in order to learn TypeScript, you have to have knowledge about JavaScript. Then I would recommend you can move to TypeScript. But for TypeScript, JavaScript is the base. You cannot ignore, you cannot skip JavaScript and directly start with TypeScript. No, it doesn't work that way. I think you understood me. You misunderstood what I was actually saying. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Any further questions, Geeta? Please do ask me.
Sure.
Yeah, but thank you so much, guys, for asking me these questions. It really gives me an impression that you guys are actually looking to get ahead, right? So I would strongly recommend, please take the next step. Just thinking that should I join, should I not join, is not going to help you, right? So don't get lazy. Take action fast, because fast action takers are the ones who actually get faster in life. Become a fast action taker. Enroll yourself as soon as possible. Contact the person who has joined you for this training, right? Of course, we'll have more sessions, right? And I'll be sharing all these notes. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me. Anything, anyone else, I'm still there for you. I can see some more people. Maybe Lalit, Madhur, Sachin, Manshu, Anjali, Abhinash. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but
Yeah, hi,
that's
Pius.
yes.
I
Yeah.
messaged to one question like how about the automating drafts using playwrights?
Okay. When you say graph, can you please elaborate it?
I mean, let's say we have like money control, right? Security details and all, like
Okay.
graphs.
Okay. Money control,
So
you mean?
to automate, I mean, we have the graphs like securities or I mean, what to say, like trading platforms are there, right? It will show you the 52-week high, low, the
Okay. Okay.
price range.
Okay.
So like
See.
XY coordinate will be there, right? In graphs.
Okay. So, okay, in this particular case, I can say that, see, this is kind of actually tricky. So because these graphs, they render very differently, it is more of a visual regression. So in this case, there are some things that you can do with Playwright. For instance, if I don't know if you're aware, but in Playwright, we have something called as we can actually do visual testing in Playwright. What does it mean? It means you can basically take a complete page screenshot and then you can compare it with the previously stored. But if your page is constantly changing, then this method is not going to work for you. And if you want to basically verify the data behind the graph, maybe you can intercept or stub the network request that feeds the chart or evaluate the JS variable. But this is something that is not directly possible. Such kind of things. So yes, see, Playwright is also an automation tool, but it has its own limitations also. Not everything can be automated,
Okay.
or rather, I would say not everything should be automated. Some people think that automation should be 100%. I don't think automation should be 100%. Some things can be best done manually only. Playwright or any automation tool is there to support me, to help me perform faster testing, right? But there is something called as critical thinking. Automation tool can never done that, right? Automation tool can never do this critical thinking. So somebody who thinks that can AI or maybe automation testing is going to replace manual testers, the answer is big no, because manual tester will always be in demand. Because any automation tool cannot think. It needs somebody who can actually drive it to work. So Playwright is like the car. You need a driver to drive that car.
Understood. Got it. Yeah. This is
Exactly.
same thing happening with Selenium also.
Yeah. See, my job is to give you the right thought process, right mindset.
Understood.
Yes. Any other questions, guys? Please feel free to ask me. Javier or Rekha, okay, are raising their hands. Okay, let me talk to Rekha first. Yes, Rekha, please go on. Rekha, you are unmuted, but I'm not sure if I'm able to hear you. Are you saying something? I don't know if there's an issue with your mic, or maybe you can type your query if you have some microphone issues. You can type in the chat. Meanwhile, Javier, you can say whatever you have.
Yeah, Piyush, which one is better tool in between Rest Assured and Playwright for API automation?
See, rest assured is a very, very mature tool actually. Very, very mature tool. Okay. So for API automation, there's nothing that can beat rest assured. So Playwright is more of a GUI testing tool. You're getting me? It is more of a UI testing tool. Of course, you can run APIs, right? Like you can. I don't know if you are aware that you can even use Postman for creating your entire scripts. Are you aware that you can even
Yeah,
write a JavaScript code inside your
and
Postman, right? So, but that does not mean that you should use Postman for automating your entire APIs. So we have a better tool which is REST assured. Of course, you can use Playwright for running your entire APIs. But better is what if you want to have a full-fledged API suite, you can go with REST assured. But if you want to mix maybe UI and API REST together, then Playwright is a very good tool in that case. So it depends upon your requirement. So for geo automation, nothing can beat Playwright. This is what I feel. For API testing, Playwright is yet to catch up. This is what I personally feel at the moment. I hope I was
Will
able
it
to answer
be
your question.
covered in few more time, like 6 months to 1 year? They are upgrading the things on that.
I'm sorry, can you please tell me your name? Because it says waiting for me.
Yasin Khan. Yeah, this is Yasin Khan. Yeah, I did not update it.
Yeah, Yasin, please do update it. Otherwise, it becomes very harder for me. I forget. Okay. Yes, Yasin,
Yeah,
please tell me.
tomorrow I think. Yeah, next going forward, I can do that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Before that, Rekha is asking, sure, I just wanted to check if the course is starting tomorrow. Actually, the course is started today only. Whatever I've started. So I was going to cover anyway. Right. So this course is more of giving you a glimpse as to what I'm going to teach actually. But yes, officially the course has started. You can, for you, it is a demo class. For me, it is more of a real course. Why? Because I'm actually going to teach you the same way. It is not like in my demo class, I'll be more sugarcoating things. And then after the demo is over, I'll be completely changed. No, my course has started from today itself. So please do enroll. This is what I would say. Yes, Yasin, you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just checking like the API. Currently it supports, right, but it's not up to the mark.
I'm not saying it is not up to the mark, but I would say that if you really want to have a full-fledged API automation, then rest assured is the tool that you should go with.
Yes, restitution is fully grown up because right now we are also working on that. But
Hmm.
what about API? Means as per the what knowledge I have on the Playwright,
Hmm.
the it works full fledged with the APIs. But the mobile testing, still it's in under maintenance or upgradation. You can say.
Yes, this is what I would say. If your goal is to test full-fledged mobile automation, then APM is the tool for that.
Yes,
Not Selenium, APM.
yes.
Similarly, if your goal is API testing, only API testing, no geo automation, then rather than suggesting Playwright, I would rather suggest you what? This rest assured. But if your goal is just GUI automation and with a mix of API testing, then I would say Playwright is the best tool out there.
But they are coming up with the new enhancement and whatever the issues like timeout issues, whatever we
Absolutely,
used
Playwright
to
is,
face with
yeah.
the.
I was just showing you this Playwright GitHub repository. They are making a lot of changes, a lot of enhancements. At this moment, it is difficult to predict. Maybe 6 months down the line, what can come up? I cannot predict. I'm not the developer, but yes, we have to keep ourselves updated. And if something new comes up, of course, we can use. So it totally depends. But at the moment,
Mhm.
for API testing, rest assured is better. This is to answer your question.
Uh, mhm.
So,
Use
yeah.
can we automate in Playwright? Let's say in our company there is a AI system which is helping us to
Hmm.
detect the damages on vehicle images, right? So
Okay.
AI can mark across the scratches, dents, right? There is a
Okay.
circle kind
Uh-huh.
of thing. So can we
Okay.
validate through Playwright such kind of things?
It depends. See, with Playwright, visual testing is possible, and this is something I also wanted to cover. Okay, when I say visual testing, it means okay. I can give you a simple example.
Yeah, basically
Hmm.
coordinates are being marked on images, right,
Yes.
which are uploaded by users.
See,
So
Playwright
let's
supports basic screenshots and all, which is called as visual testing. Suppose if your goal is functional testing, of course, Playwright is very, very strong with functional testing. But when it comes to visual testing,
there is a no challenge to automate such kind of
yes, it is not just with Playwright, any automation tool actually. Why? When it comes to images,
difficult
it
in
is,
Selenium. That's why I was asking.
yeah, I totally understand why you are asking me. I totally and fully understand. So, see, when it comes to images, it is not easy to automate image, to be very honest. Not just with Selenium, any automation tool. Of course, Playwright is actually catching up a lot fast. They are actually upgrading a lot. But still, I would say that for images, it might struggle. It totally depends upon application to application. So without looking into your application, little harder for me to comment at the moment. Okay. But if required, maybe we can catch up one-on-one sometime and then you can share your application or something. Right? And of course, I would love to
And
guide
the
you. Yeah. Yasin.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Please go ahead.
What were the notes and the interview questions and things? What and all the documentation you're sharing?
Okay. So regarding the documentation, what I would do is I can create one folder, basically. One folder
Mm-hmm.
specifically for you people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'll be giving that access of read
Mm-hmm.
access to all of you. So as and when I'm
Mm-hmm.
basically creating all my classes, I can keep on adding or basically dumping these notes into that folder along with the assignments,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel that
Mm-hmm.
without the notes, it becomes very hard. Because suppose if you're continuously going through these videos, you're actually practicing, but it will be very hard to go through the entire video again just to extract. I think it is better to rather
Mm-hmm.
watching video once or twice is okay, but beyond that, I think it makes more sense to actually follow the notes in a lot lesser time.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that should be that. And what
Exactly.
about the interview questions and programs to crack the things in the interview?
See,
What do you
regarding
thought?
interview questions and all, it is a completely separate topic in itself. If I want to cover, basically, I can
Yeah.
take maybe 3 months just to cover entire interview questions, because I usually take separate classes just to prepare people for interviews. Because specifically in interviews, a lot of people, companies nowadays ask a lot of data structure related questions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it that itself is like an ocean in itself. You mean,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you talk
I'm
about data,
right now from
hmm,
my yeah from my side. I'm right now. I'm purely looking for the AI with Playwright because I have like a vast experience and then many tools I have worked already.
okay,
So
okay.
I'm totally looking like AI specifically.
Okay, okay, you're looking for AI specifically, right? But see,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm actually accommodating everybody, right? Because different kind of people are kind of joining this particular course, right? So I have to
Mm-hmm.
basically redesign, or we can say restructure my course as per everyone's needs. Like you're joining specifically for AI, right? So I can basically do my little bit more homework so as to how can I add more value to you, so that you should find this course more valuable. At the same time,
Yes.
other people, like let's say other people who are joining in who have no automation background, no coding background, they should also find this course valuable. It's not like
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
that's
only focusing you and ignoring others, or the other way around.
yes.
It should be value addition for all of you. That is what I have to do. That is, I was trying to understand more about you and everyone and their basically their background.
Yeah, because we have like almost 12 years of experience I have,
Oh,
and
that's great.
I have
Great.
worked in like Java, Selenium, robot framework,
Okay, okay.
Cypress, and then 6 months, I think 1 year back, I worked on Playwright.
Oh, okay, okay. So you have around
Currently
6 months to a
still
year
improving.
experience. Great, great. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
But
That's fine.
that's what I
But Yasin,
looking
I
for.
still
Like,
feel that. I really feel that. Even though you have some experience in playwright, I'm pretty sure whatever I'm going to teach you, you will find a lot of new stuff. Even though you have worked on playwright, but still you'll find it a lot valuable, along with the AI part.
Mhm.
Of course, for AI, I will give you a lot of value. Other than AI, also, you will still find it valuable. I have full confidence
Mhm.
in that.
Okay.
Yes. So please do join. Definitely.
Yes, sure.
Yes. Any other question, guys? Thank you so much that you are so patient. You are actually raising your hands rather than abruptly unmuting yourself. Thank you so much for maintaining the decorum. So, any other question, guys? Maybe I can see Lalit, Anjali. There is user one, Madhur, Avinash. Anyone who has any questions, or we can end the meeting if you have no questions.
Yeah, hi, Piyush. This is Ram actually.
Ram. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm from a different background actually. So I'm into IT only.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I joined here to upskill actually. So my domain is different, so
Okay.
performance testing.
Okay.
So since we are here new for Playwright,
Mhm.
so how possible for you complexity if you say like complex concepts you cover, so that it will be helpful for us to
Okay.
work in the real-time environment as well, because
Okay, I totally
that's what I am
understand where you're coming
expecting.
from. I totally get that. So, what am I thinking is, right? See. I'm being very open and honest. I'll share my thought process with you. Since so many different people are joining in, right? Just now, Yasin was speaking. He was having 12 years of experience. You are having a certain experience. There are some people who have no experience in playwright, right? So, in this particular case, I have to keep my course designed in such a way that it should basically help all of you. Okay. So, in this particular case, what I would do is we are starting from the very basics, we are starting from scratch, and then once slowly steadily we are going to increase the complexity, right? It's not like I cannot start from the hard concepts now and then I can move on to the easier concepts. No, it doesn't work that way. We have to start from the basic concepts. Once you are a little comfortable, we'll move on to the intermediate concepts, and once you're comfortable with that, we'll move on to advanced concepts. And how will you know you're actually getting better? Through these assignments what I'll be sharing with you. Trust me, if you're following the assignments what I'm sharing with you, you'll be very good. Any further questions now? Anyone, guys? Javid is still raising their hand. Yeah, Javid, if you have any questions, please let me know. I can see your hand is raised. If you have any queries, please ask me. Unable to unmute. Oh, just a sec. Allowed to unmute. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Piyush, so it should be again
Hmm.
related to the real-time tasks only, right? So
Uh-huh.
how the people working in real-time projects, like real-time applications, kind of thing, will be covering, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. See, whatever I'm teaching you is from the real world experience so that from industry level, it's not just the basics about Playwright. It is about making you so confident that you should be able to work in any industry level application or any particular company. Doesn't matter what it is. That is what my goal is. You should be very comfortable with Playwright.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So please do join. Definitely you'll get a lot of value. I know that.
Okay, sure.
Yes. And tomorrow we'll be starting from exactly 9 o'clock only. Anyone else has any questions, any doubts? I'm very patient with questions, guys. You can ask me any questions. No one? Okay, guys. So looks like I was able to answer most of our questions, right? So I would say that just take a little bit of hope, right? And this journey is going to be very enjoyable. We're going to learn a lot of stuff together, right? So with this, I think we should sign off now, right? So you will get this recording pretty soon. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in and giving me a chance to become your trainer and your mentor, right? I will be there for you to guide you and support you, and together we all will grow. Okay. So with that, let us sign off, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.